welcome back to Big Deal. And we are in conversation with Ajay Piramal, Cyril Shroff and Kishore Karat. Let's take it back to them on their view on how deal making is going to pan out in the stressed asset sector. Let's take it forward then. Straight to the lender then. Now, Mr. Karat, have companies really shown their interest in getting restructuring done through S4A? Have they really come up with proposals? And even the companies which are currently under SDR, nothing has moved on that particular front. Are lenders okay to convert those SDR companies into S4A companies?
I think the possibilities of deal under S4A are more than the earlier SDR scheme. Because under this scheme, as I said, the lenders can actually convert this unsustainable debt into long-term instruments, and then there are chances of recovery. When the revival of the unit is there, chances of recovery is increasing. So obviously there will be more parties interested to come through this S4 route.
Mr. Shroff, no particular sector really has an unfair advantage over the others. Do you see that certain sectors will see more action in terms of deals than the others?
I think infrastructure and cement seems to be a bit ahead, but obviously there is restructuring to be done in all of these. The other one is roads, part of infrastructure, but that's another specific sector where we're seeing deals.
From the investor's point of view, Mr. Piramal, you've done some small deals in the infrastructure space like road projects, even power deals. Now, which are the sectors that are turning out to be more attractive than the others in the debt-laden space?
So the funds that we've invested, whether it's in infrastructure or in power, these are all really mezzanine type of deals where we've given mezzanine debt and we will recover over time. It's different from the stressed assets. In the stressed assets, we may do a combination of equity, it could be and debt. So it's a combination of all that. The sectors that we are still finalizing, but some of the sectors that we could look at is some infrastructure, textiles, pharmaceuticals. These are some of those sectors we look at.
So, Mr. Piramal, the biggest issue for the lenders are coming in from first steel sector with the highest amount of debt levels, and then, of course, energy sector. These are the two sticky areas. Are you not much interested in these two? So,
as I said, infrastructure, power is part of that. Steel, as of now, we are not very comfortable with it. Obviously, the amounts are very large in it, but we don't think that we'll do it.
So, it won't be good news coming in for the lenders. Mr. Karat, you heard Mr. Piramal say not much interest when it comes to the steel sector, at least for his fund probably. Now, the larger issues that have especially come up for the lenders are a lot from the steel sector, as we have seen. Some of the companies, and I can't name them, 45,000 crore rupees of debt from one company itself. Now, in such a scenario, do you think that S4A is going to really give them any relief? Are you looking at that?
See, again, S4A, it has the two components. One is about that sustainable component, which is part A, we say, and another is the unsustainable component. Now, if the sustainable component is good enough, and if there is a value for the equity, still the investors can come, because the valuation of the equity is slightly different than whatever the total debts are there on the company. So, equity valuation, if it is done properly, and if the new investor sees there is a value, or there is an upside for whatever value is present value and the future value, I am sure there will be a lot of interest generated from the investors.
So, Mr. Shroff, it's established that not many strategic deals may happen, and then private equity funds and stressed funds may really play an active role. What about the asset reconstruction companies? What is the kind of role that they may play?
No, I think they'll continue to be relevant. I think this is sort of neither here nor there. So this just adds another dimension, but the ARCs still have a role to play.
So all put together, of course, it is going to be a long drawn process, a complex restructuring that we are going to see. But purely from the fund's perspective, Mr. Piramal, what is the kind of returns that you are looking at? And what could be the timeline for these redemptions, at least from your funds? 3 to 5 years, is that one of the timelines that you're looking at all?
So the fund will have to be a longer duration fund. I look at it a fund of, because it's going to be a restructuring of companies, it could be anywhere from 5 to actually 10-year fund. I don't expect that a turnaround will take place in 3 to 5 years. It'll be longer than that. the returns, these have to be returns in excess of 25%, because otherwise it doesn't make sense to take so much of risk and to put in so much of effort.
And do you also think that new deal making is going to be easier and faster with all these mechanisms in place?
Yeah, again, this doesn't achieve nirvana on its own. I think it's, as I said, a step in you'll see some more deals come to the market, but this doesn't solve the whole problem. It only solves a part of it.
All right, I'll come to Mr. Karat then. I'll let you take the last word and the final say in this discussion, because you're the most affected party here. With the softening of stance, with S4A coming in because SDR was clearly not working out, and with Governor Rajan really not going in for a second term, do you think that the system and the regulation is going to be a lot more relaxed for you to take more into your hands so that debt resolution is faster and simpler?
This particular guideline which has come, it is quite rather comprehensive. One more thing which is there good in this is a overseeing committee, because whenever any haircut or any structuring has to be done, I think overseeing committee, when they are approving the process, it will give some kind of confidence to the bankers when actually concluding the deals. But let me tell you, mention very briefly about changing of the governor. In my personal opinion, the regulator is a regulator, and regulatory systems function independent of the governor. Governor, obviously, Dr. Rajan, he was of a very high caliber, and he had set certain directions for qualitative improvements in the banking system, but that will continue.
All right, Mr. Karat, I'll let you go on that point. Gentlemen, thanks so much for your time as well as your insights. Thanks for joining us on CNBC TV 18. Now, straight to the key takeaways of this discussion. S4A is a step in the right direction, but more relaxations are required to ascertain the sustainable portion of the debt so that more debt-laden companies really can benefit from the revival scheme. Second, strategic deals will be far and few now. Indian promoters clearly want to hold on to their assets as long as possible. Lenders' ability to take haircut is still an issue which blocks deal making, needs to be resolved. Stressed asset funds will play a more active role, but are there enough funds is the question. So this is the analysis. We have a long way to go, and dealing with debt will be a treacherous task, but action in this space will keep us all extremely busy through the year, I promise. All right, with that, it's a wrap from me. Thanks so much for tuning in to Big Deal.